Hello there.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's just finished. We've waited till the end to give a review so we can just do the whole fucking overall show, and a lot has been said online, a lot has just been raged and also loved simultaneously. And just what did you think? What did you think of this show?
Man, it was just really disappointing.
Yeah.
Just had so much potential, and like I said before, for a show named Obi-Wan Kenobi, wasn't really focused on Obi-Wan Kenobi. It felt like they were more trying to set up a Reva storyline.
Or just anything that wasn't Kenobi,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And yeah, like,
Don't get us wrong though, like there were Obi-Wan Kenobi moments and they were the only bright lights in the show.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. I've kind of, like, in my notes has gotten kind of just an episode by episode rundown of, like, the things I liked and didn't like. But yeah, overall, I've been trying to keep up with what people have been saying online, because I was quite surprised when it started. After the first two episodes, I actually kind of enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But most people hated them. So I was like on the opposite end, because I was like, oh yeah, like, that was a decent enough start, I thought, for a show. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're like a third of the way through though, and there's only 6 episodes and nothing's really happened.
That was the big thing for me, was they were all right, but they were good. I'll say they were good, but when I thought about it, I was like, shit, we're already 2 episodes in of a 6 episode series. Maybe if this was like a 10 episode series and we had a lot more to progress through, like,
they should have just made a movie.
yeah,
They should have, but they won't, because the failure of Solo. They've just got PTSD of doing spin-off movies.
Yeah, definitely.
And then they've obviously seen the success Mandalorian's had, so, like, you know, they're just trying to go the safest route possible, it seems. And just doing the same shit that every other show's doing. Like, they promise you it's going to be about one thing, but really they've got their entirely own agendas and things that they want to put on screen, which just shouldn't even be there. But yeah, overall, I was majorly let down by this. I had such high expectations for this show. Like, I didn't... Like, it was so easy to make this show good. Like, it could have been so easy, and they went out of their way just to put in all this unnecessary shit that just didn't need to be there.
They gave us filler episodes in a 6 episode series.
Exactly. Which is what I'm saying. They should have just made a movie if you need to put filler. Or, as I'll get into it, if you need to put filler in your Kenobi show, there's an entire fucking Clone Wars which you can put into live action.
Yeah.
Literally just put anything from that era into live action and just have action scenes. Because the budget for this was only like fucking $90 million, I was told. That is absolutely... that is a disgrace.
Yeah.
And it looked like it to me as well.
There were some very dodgy parts,
there were so many parts of this that just looked absolutely fan-made. Like, the direction combined just with, like... It just looked so cheap, I thought, and just, like, no one gave a fuck about it, really.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a recurring theme. It's like when these studios think they've just got like a guaranteed fan base that will just watch their thing, it's like Marvel. Like, I thought the Marvel movies have started looking a lot cheaper and like green screen to fuck.
Yeah.
And stuff like that as well. And like, I just thought Kenobi looked the exact same.
It's not even the CG though. This is what we were saying last night. I was rewatching Attack of the Clones, and like the CG in that is pretty awful. Like, there is some very dodgy stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's unnecessarily used.
Yeah, it's more just because there's too much CGI that, like...
I think that's what makes it stand out, that it's, like, not the best.
When you just have, like, 2 people standing in a world of CGI for a whole movie, it's just obviously just going to not look that good.
But I would take that... like that form of Star Wars over this any day of the week. I thought this was really disappointing. Just like you said, with the direction, the story writing.
And in the prequels, you understood why they had that much CGI, because they had like these
huge
planets
universes
and all this stuff
and
which didn't exist. So it actually, there was reason for it.
Yeah.
But then in this show, it just seemed like it didn't seem like there was any creativity to it. And I can pretty much say that about Star Wars as a whole ever since George Lucas hasn't been involved, which Disney just fuck yourselves. Say what it like. Everyone likes the prequels a lot more now, obviously, but just compare the places they go and everything. Like, you can name almost every planet from the prequels because of how just
distinguishable they are.
like the creativity that went into them.
Yeah.
They're so memorable and everything about them. Like, I couldn't name a single planet from fucking the sequel trilogies or this.
Yeah, or even like the Mandalorian and stuff.
Yeah. Like, you can name Jakku, cool, it's Tatooine 2.0.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just reused sort of thing.
So that's just my fucking one of the things with Star Wars. But anyway, we'll go through this episode because I've just like we need to break this hunk of fuck down.
Yeah.
So it started off with Order 66, and this got me hyped as fuck. Like the whole recap of the prequels and this opening Order 66 scene, I was like, fuck yes, like this is gonna be sick. And I was. Like, this is what I mean though. If you needed these filler scenes, just go back to stuff from the prequels. Just like, and they did have one scene later on with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
And it was like one of the best parts.
You just have. I'll get to it anyway when we actually fucking get to it. But yeah, we had the Order 66 scene, which ended up being fucking Reva, which was speculated online because even before the show came out, the leaks came out of pretty much her entire plot line, and it was came to be true. We'll get more on her later. But yeah, it starts off with Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and he's just, it
just shows us what he's been up to, working his job,
pretty
not
much
as a Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, not being a Jedi. And so, like, we didn't really know what the show was going to be about. I was thinking it was going to take place probably entirely on Tatooine, especially with, like, just not that many episodes. I was wondering, because obviously Obi-Wan had to be there at the end, like how they were going to fit it all into it.
Well, there was no layer in the trailer or anything, though, was there?
Well, it's
not that I can think of, like, from the initial.
And this is what I'm saying, you expected it to be a Kenobi show, and then they just had all this other shit in it.
I wonder if they kind of switched up, like their original plan was to be something that it wasn't.
No, it definitely wasn't. The original plan was to push these strong you know exactly what their plan was. I don't know, I feel like you can't that's the thing, like, you can't criticize anything now for it being bad. Like, if you think something's bad, you're a misogynist or a racist. You can't just criticize shit writing and decisions.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Look, Reva was a character introduced straight away, and people kind of had a problem with her. More with the actor's portrayal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what
and the way that the character was sort of written.
Yeah. Because they've got the fucking Inquisitor and these whatever
which
the
is
fuck
such a cool storyline that they could run with in itself.
Yeah.
Give us like you said in Philistines, give us flashback to the Inquisitors like becoming Inquisitors or something like that. Like,
yeah. But anyway, like, they've come to Tatooine, they're looking for Obi-Wan.
Well, no, they're just looking for any Jedi at the start.
Oh yeah, but like, do they know Obi-Wan's there straight away or no? Or do they think he's dead? I don't know. I can't fucking remember
because
exactly.
Reva is obsessed with him from the start.
Yeah,
which we'll get to her story soon.
We'll get to it. Like, her motivations, I'm so like all over the show. But anyway, they're looking for Jedi, and Obi-Wan's there. And then from there, they pretty much. So Reva hires like bounty hunters essentially to capture Leia to draw out
Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, okay, this will be a decent way to start off this show. Like, I was thinking this storyline would be contained to like the first 2 episodes, but no, instead it is just dragged out. Like, she just gets fucking captured and saved 1,000 times, and I was literally, it just was Mandalorian all over again, where they literally just rinse and repeat the exact same fucking episode. But anyway, you've got Obi-Wan starting off on Tatooine. He's absolutely just got nothing to do with being a Jedi anymore, pretty much. He's weak, old, and he's trying to communicate with Qui-Gon, but I'm guessing he's unsuccessful just because he's distanced himself so much from being
Force,
a Jedi.
Yeah.
And then, so them capturing Leia is what brings him back out into it. And I was like,
Bail Organa contacts him and says, we need you.
Yeah, and I was like, fair enough. Like, if they're going to have... Well, this is what I was thinking initially. I was like, yeah, because everyone expected it to be about Luke and stuff, but fair enough, they're actually giving Leia like a plot line of something to do instead of just making it all about Luke.
Yeah.
But then it ended up just being a bit too fucking much. And Reva from the beginning, the fucking, like, the acting was just terrible. It was just
It was like real over the top.
Yeah.
Just.
And it was just, it was like funny almost, because she was just the most, she belonged in like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Like her acting was so over the top and cringy, I thought. She was just absolutely not menacing as a villain. So she really just didn't work as a character at all, and she was also just so unlikable because she's just like, I get she is a villain. That's the thing at the start. I was like, oh, okay, like at least she is a villain. So
yeah, that was why I gave her room to work with. Like, she is annoying, but that's kind of her role is to be bad.
Yeah, like her being this unlikable works in her favour because she's a villain, but then knowing that she was gonna like turn good at the end just made me
did
hate,
she look like
it just made me hate her character so much, because I'm like, well, again, we'll get to it, but it was just so undeserved everything that fucking she did.
The other thing for me was that, like, her character design was so basic and boring. She was just a human, or not, like, she was just a person, whereas you had like the Grand Inquisitor, who was like this fucking 7-foot freak with a weird shaped head. You had the fucking what was he, the third, or no,
whatever the fuck he was.
He was one of them, and he was fucking
and they just
green.
Didn't do anything. They didn't fucking do anything. I don't know why they were in the show.
There was big leaks about like, rumors that the lightsabers that the Inquisitors use, you're going to be able to fly with them.
Yeah,
didn't see any of that.
Well. They literally they didn't need to be in the show at all. They absolutely didn't. They didn't do anything.
Especially with the Grand, like, this is jumping ahead to episode 2, but
yeah, well, we can if we want.
Yeah, I mean, like, episode 1 and 2, because they came out at the same time, they were pretty much one episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, Leia gets kidnapped and they end up on this planet.
There was barely even a story enough for those 2 episodes anyway. So.
And yeah, the Grand Inquisitor gets killed off essentially.
Was that in episode 1 or 2?
2, I believe.
But just quickly going back to episode 1. That fucking chase... Like, everyone's talked about that chase scene, but that chase scene, I'm sorry, I was watching it and thinking, what the fuck is this Looney Tunes shit? And there's some more things that happen later on, which I also kind of like that. It was so laughable. I was literally watching it because I was like, oh yeah, this episode's been enjoyable enough so far. And when I got to that scene, I was literally this little 2-year-old 2-foot child outrunning these group of like bounty hunters.
Like, can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Like,
yeah,
it was Flea. It was Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Exactly. It was chasing.
And they fucking couldn't stop her either. Really,
it was ridiculous. Like, I was watching this video yesterday, and it was like of one of them. I think it was like the guy with the green head or helmet, and he just runs into the tree. Like, he's running at 2 kilometers an hour. And he just keeps running into the tree.
And then, like, it's the same as in fucking Boba Fett, like that chase scene in that.
I didn't watch any of that.
Well, I didn't watch I fucking stopped watching even before that, but I saw it online. Like, these chase scenes they keep having are just fucking awful. And what is the point of her? Just have her get captured straight away. Yeah. What is the point of even having that chase scene? I don't fucking know, but that was pretty much episode 1. Well, I thought it was entertaining enough. Reva, absolutely unlikable. That's pretty much that was my takeaway from episode 1. Episode 2, so yeah, it was Obi-Wan rescuing Leia, and that was it.
I can't even tell you what planet they were on.
Exactly, but that was pretty much it. That's pretty much all that happened in this entire episode. It was like she got captured, and then Obi-Wan rescues her with pretty much ease.
With Canal.
Yeah.
Gianni.
And that's the thing, like, they keep introducing all these new characters and stuff. I'm like, focus on fucking Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep, like, introducing all these new characters.
Like, at least one episode sort of thing. Yeah, and then, like, they just are never heard from again or killed off or brought back at the end.
And Obi-Wan was just so useless as well. Like, he was fucking just making this, like, I get, like, from a character standpoint, you're like, oh yeah, we need to make him like this underdog kind of, like, so he's not fucking Rey in the sequel trilogy, even though
again, the chase scene in episode 2.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to get to that as well. Like, for some reason, like, Leia, after Obi-Wan's already fucking rescued her, like, stops trusting him for 2 seconds and literally just
until he proves that he's a Jedi.
Starts running away from him, and I'm like, just reach out and fuck, it just reminded me of another thing later on that happens with chasing children. Apparently is just one of the most impossible things to do.
I'm so good at it as well. Like, Children cannot escape me.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I wrote about episode 2. I was like,
because that's all that happened.
I literally wrote episode 2, fuck all happens, Obi-Wan rescues Leia, Reva's parkour, and this is another fucking
CGI.
thing, which I'll relay back to later. Again, just with not being able to chase people down, Reva like 2 buildings away doing super speed parkour, but can't catch up to like
doing fucking random spinneroonies looking like
shows
Booker
you,
T.
she was like literally like not even fucking 500 meters probably away from them, and she's doing all these super speed jumps and shit, and she can't even get to them in time. And then at the end, fucking so Obi-Wan rescues Leia, and so Reva's failed. Like after she spends this whole time just disobeying orders and failing at everything, literally murders what you think the Grand Inquisitor on screen, and it's just allowed to happen. She just is allowed to do what. That's the thing. Like I was just thinking the whole time, this bitch, she's literally getting away with whatever she wants to do. And fucking absolutely sabotaging the Empire. Like,
Viceroy, an attack.
She can't do that. Shoot her or something.
Yeah. Like, it was no surprise Vader fucking didn't see it. Like, he saw it coming from a mile away. Because she's just, like, if you were just anybody seeing the shit she was doing, you'd be thinking she was trying to bring a fucking end to the Empire.
That was the other thing, right? So she name drops. Obviously, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan leaves Anakin because he thinks he's dead. And Reva, like, lets Obi-Wan know in episode 2, she's like, Darth Vader is Anakin.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fuck. But, like, a big part of, like, the comics and I know you can't base everything off comics, but it's like a big part of Darth Vader's character is that he doesn't let anyone that knows he's Anakin Skywalker live.
Yeah.
And she's just like expressing this, like she must know somehow, and he like reveals he knows that he left her at Order 66. Like he knows it's her.
I don't think he left her though. I think he would have just taken her with him.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like he spared her. I mean, sorry, not left her. Like
for what reason exactly? Like,
so he
what
knew
made
the
her
whole time.
Special? Maybe he probably just didn't want to be cancelled by the fucking by the Coruscant politicians by killing off a young black female. That's all I'm thinking. But because people were getting really mad about that. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, with the amount of shit I already hated in the show, that was the least of my concerns. Like her name dropping Anakin as Vader.
It was just like I think like there was a lot of stuff that kind of doesn't keep up with what Star Wars, like the original trilogy sort of thing.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that was and then it shows Vader at the end. And that was another thing as well, like, just have Vader be the fucking, like, I feel like they promised on how much he does some cool shit later on, but I feel like you should have just had him be the villain, but no, they just had to have Reva in it to set up her shit spin-off that no one's going to watch. Like
surely they don't.
Because the first 2 episodes, I was literally like, yeah, where the fuck's Vader? And then they brought him in at the end of episode 2.
The fucking back to tank.
And then at the beginning of episode 3, Vader is on a call with Reva and is like, I'm going to promote you to Grand Inquisitor if you successfully chase down. And I'm like, it's literally her fault that Obi-Wan escaped and she killed the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you promoting this bitch? Why are you allowing her to live? Choke her through the screen. I've seen you do it in The Empire Strikes Back. He murders people in Empire Strikes Back for just coming out of hyperspeed too early. Like, and you're letting this chick survive who's like thinking she fucking runs the show. Like they made like Vader was her fucking cuck in this show. Literally, she was just making Vader her absolute bitch because they tried to show Vader being such a beast the whole time, but then at the same time, whenever it came to her, like she was just doing whatever the fuck she wanted.
Yeah, and it almost made it feel like Darth Vader didn't care.
It just made me hate her character. Like the acting was bad enough, but like everything about her fucking shit character. So yeah, I just right here, I was like, Reva just never having any consequences for her action, so just putting me more against her. And then, you've got Leia and Obi-Wan. This is the episode where they're trying to sneak through that gate with the stormtroopers and stuff, like they're on that same transportation thing. And Obi-Wan's just being a fucking idiot, I thought. Like, this is the point where it's like you're halfway through this show already. Yeah. And you're just
That's when it sank, like, really made me realise this isn't going to be good.
Exactly, because I get it, like, you're having these back and forth interactions with Leia and stuff, like, you know, setting up a bit of a relationship there, but you could have easily condensed everything to do with, because again, she literally just gets captured again.
Yeah.
You could have condensed this all, if you're going to do the storyline, you condense it all into the first 2 episodes. You have, because
You literally
that's what I was literally just saying, like, how there was fucking nothing happening in those first 2 episodes, really.
Keep them all in an hour long, because they switch from like an hour to like 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you just consistently keep things at an hour, you could honestly fit so much more stuff into 2 episodes, giving yourself so much more space to work with.
Yeah.
And just like, I really don't think they thought out,
They just don't think of anything.
like, it's just ridiculous that they had 6 episodes and this is kind of what they produced.
Yeah, and I'll just skip to the end here, like the end of the whole show, like, you know, where there's that final scene with Obi-Wan and Leia, like, talking to each other.
Yeah, on
and,
Alderaan.
like, and he's like saying his goodbye to her.
Yeah.
You have that at the end of episode 2.
Yeah.
You have all their storyline in these first, because nothing, like, they just, like I said, the rinse repeating the same thing. You condense that shit all into those first 2 episodes, and so you've had, like, the first episode she gets captured and then he's able to rescue her at the end of...
Yeah.
Or even the start of episode 2, but they're still trying to escape and having like these back and forths, building the characters along the way. And then at the end of episode 2, then you have them have their goodbyes, and then the rest of the show, you have him just escaping from Vader.
Yeah.
You kill Reva at the end of episode 2 as well for failing to fuck, because we all wanted her to die.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, you kill her at the end of episode 2 for letting fucking Kenobi escape again, and then just have Obi-Wan running from Vader the rest of the show, mixed in with flashbacks from the prequels to, like, so then when you get to their final confrontation, you've had all this build-up, all this backstory.
And you can
like,
still keep parts that they used. Like, you could still have him go through the pathway or whatever they called it, and because that is like a legitimate thing that Jedis use. He could go through that. He could meet Ice Cube, like...
Yeah.
You know, even though Ice Cube was the most bipolar character I've ever seen.
Yeah, and was that in this episode where they brought... Or it might have been in the next episode.
4.
But yeah, like, again, bringing in all these fucking side characters to take away the screen time from Kenobi. And then I think it was in episode 4 as well, like, they take fucking, what felt like 10 minutes just to... This fucking character called Wade, who literally didn't even have a line of dialogue, and like he gets killed in a battle while they're escaping.
Expected to
and then
give a
there's,
shit.
there's this whole scene where like, oh, and Wade died. I thought it was like meant to be some kind of a joke or something because of how irrelevant, how irrelevant a character he was. Like, why the fuck was that in the show?
And the British bitch that was like a part of the Empire. Like,
yeah, and this is what I mean. Like, all these characters would get, like, they were getting everything to do while Kenobi was kind of just standing around giving fucking motivational speeches every once in a while, just getting them to do everything.
If you're at least going to introduce a new character, give them sort of something to make us care.
Yeah.
I didn't care about anyone introduced in the show. I didn't give a fuck about Ice Cube. I don't give a fuck about Reva. I don't give a fuck about...
Well, that's the thing.
Like, anyone.
We're watching this for Kenobi.
I'm watching it for Kenobi, Vader... and potentially like Luke to see if he does anything.
Yeah.
Or Uncle Owen.
Fucking Owen. Which, like, fair enough to the show. They actually did give them, like, they didn't have much screen time, but I thought, like, they actually
episode 6 they were good.
And they were, like, actually characters you knew and actually had a purpose to the story as well. I'm like, yeah, fair enough actually giving those characters something to do. Not these hunks of fuck. But anyway, the introduction of Vader I thought was absolutely phenomenal. Like, when he's just walking through that town just snapping people's necks with the Force and stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But then this was also the first moment where I was really thinking that this show was, like, cheap to me, which was the first fight between Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was like, first of all, it's on another planet with just the most dead landscape, boring as fuck.
It was just like sand dunes.
Yeah, and another thing about, like, kind of Star Wars as a whole, the lightsabers just look like in the sequel trilogy, I thought they actually did a really good job of making the lightsabers actually look sick, but in this, they look literally like
plastic.
There's not enough CG to them.
Yeah.
Like, they don't look like... It literally just looks like a beam that doesn't move at all, and it just looks like plastic with, like, a slight glow to it.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, an actual laser coming out of it, like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, how it's all, like, crackling and stuff. Like, something like that to actually make it look sick instead. Like, when you rewatch it and just pay attention to their lightsabers, like, is it right?
No, we're all good.
Yeah, fuck, that's just what I was thinking. And, yeah.
I didn't mind their first fight. I thought it had some cool suspense moments, and how Vader kind of kept, like, appearing out of nowhere. Like, almost like he was teleporting.
There was something which I feel like the editing made it look good, but it was fucking stupid because it would literally be like Vader was just walking after Kenobi.
Yeah,
and then he'd run
that
off,
is one thing.
And then he would just run off screen, and then it would cut to something else and come back, and then Obi-Wan just like walking away, wondering if Vader is. I'm like, he was literally just right behind you. Like,
yeah,
you walked off screen, and then you come back to it, and like.
That's the other thing. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was just kind of stupid, like...
And also, if
again, you can't chase people down in the show.
If Vader really wanted Obi-Wan dead, which was kind of like the big thing he said to Reva, you know, bring me Obi-Wan, he had Obi-Wan multiple times.
Exactly, and people's justification for it was, oh no, he wants to punish Obi-Wan, he doesn't care about killing him straight away, but then immediately in the next episode, he's wanting to murder, and for the rest of the show, wanting to murder Obi-Wan. So it made no sense for him to let him go here. And we fucking see later on, he force crushes a fucking ship out of the sky.
We know he's powerful.
Yeah, and you can't...
And he lets a fucking yellow bumblebee droid drag Obi-Wan out of the fire.
Yeah.
Like, he easily could have fucking... They had stormtroopers there. I know stormtroopers are fucking awful, but you can't tell me that Darth Vader didn't hold back.
And then,
like,
and then Leia just gets fucking captured again, and we're back right where we started, almost like three quarters of the way through the show.
We're introducing more irrelevant characters. Yeah. They name drop Quinlan Vos. Yeah, cool. Like didn't lead to anything.
Like, the only scene so far that's had any real relevance or significance was him fighting Vader. It's halfway through the show, basically, at the end of the third episode, and then you're just going back to this, like, where we started with Leia being fucking captured again. And I literally just wrote episode 4, worst episode.
This was just straight filler.
This was the most again, because like they had no idea. So we're like, oh yeah, we'll just have like get captured again and just do literally the exact same thing again as they've done in the fucking past episode. And the worst part of this was you had so much time with Leia and Reva. And they like
didn't build either of them up.
I'll excuse like the child acting. I didn't think was the best, but I'll excuse it because it's a fucking kid.
Towards the end, it wasn't the child acting; it was the way Leia was written. I think towards the end really annoyed me.
It's just like a sassy child is the most unlikable thing.
Yeah,
I think that can
I've been
ever
known
be.
to kick children before. Like, I would have no issue seeing Leia get kicked again.
And like you just had all the like these long drawn out scenes of like having to rely on their acting, and it was so fucking terrible. Like Reva again,
it just showed how awful she was. Like, give her a moment where she like force chokes Leia or puts a lightsaber up to her fucking skull.
What I was thinking, like, why
Leia
even
didn't give a shit at all about
why
Reva.
even bother even asking her, like torture her immediately?
Yeah.
Why bother being like, tell me what I want to know? Instead, literally just cut her arm off with a lightsaber and get her to... What did she even have the information that she wanted anyway? Because wasn't she trying to find about all the Jedis and stuff?
Yeah, like she wouldn't even really know.
About that.
Yeah.
So it was a fucking waste of time anyway. Fuck you.
Yeah. Episode 4 really isn't. I think people freaked, like, in episode 4, people were like, oh my god, Jedi Fallen Order, rah rah rah. That was the only thing that was going for episode 4.
Yeah, and this was...
And the dead Jedi and the fucking wax and, like, the honey or whatever it was.
Again, going back to, like, the Looney Tunes, when he's just hiding Leia under his fucking coat.
Oh my god,
like,
that
literally,
was
there's
stupid.
people just walking, like right past him and just aren't noticing that, apparently, when you have, like, this child that you captured that is, like...
a homeless man walking with a child. Imagine if the fucking Clappy man walked through the Octagon with a child under his waistcoat.
And they're all they're all after Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like, and you see, like, a man, you see Kenobi there, and, like, the child you're meant to have abducted. Like, fuck. And again, Reva lets, like Leia gets fucking
ridiculous.
saved again by Kenobi, and again Vader lets Reva live here. I don't give a fuck if she put a fucking tracker on her fucking robot.
Yeah.
It was her fault in the first place that she even fucking got fucking rescued. Like, and you're letting, like, even if she did put that fucking tracker on, cool, cut her head off, and then go after her yourself, because he's going after Kenobi anyway. Why do you need this bitch to do it?
And you know Obi-Wan's coming to get her, so like...
There's no point in her being in the show, man.
Why not, like, shut the place down as soon as... Like, surely people were able to report stuff. Like, when Obi-Wan was holding off the water... And all the stormtroopers are on one side. Like, why are you not sending out a report? Okay, lock down the building. We've got him in here. Done.
Yeah, like, how are they not, like, all fucking in an army where all the ships are, ready to just shoot anyone who tries to fucking leave.
Like, I would understand it if the main goal wasn't to kill Obi-Wan, but it was. That was, like, Vader's main mission.
Yeah.
Was to have Obi-Wan dead. And in multiple opportunities where he could have had it, he didn't. Either he let it slide, or someone let it slide, and he didn't punish them.
And like this plot armor that Reva had, again, is just extending the amount of unlikability to her fucking character.
Yeah.
It's just making it worse and worse. So yeah, I wrote this episode was easily the worst of the show.
Yeah,
I thought,
this was like just straight filler.
like they pretty much just redid the fucking second episode again, and like literally pretty much. Episode 5 started with the prequel flashback, and again, like this is what I would have done.
Yeah.
That I would have just had.
This is probably my favourite scene.
Exactly, like, and going back to what I was saying, bringing so much more impact to every interaction Kenobi and Vader have by like having the contrast of the prequels
That was
and
what I
teaching
loved
them.
as well. Like,
And imagine if you had that going through the whole show, like the amount of impact the end would have had, because you've like been reliving the whole show, seeing the training and all that shit.
you didn't even have to reshoot. Like, you could have easily picked moments out of the original the bloody prequels, like that you could have used, and it was like,
like if you're bringing Christensen back,
well, yeah, you easily should have reshot,
they should have done so much more shit there, I reckon, but I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was easily one of the best scenes in the show, and kind of like, and again, it like reinforced why Vader is still like this. Like, he's still a learner, and why he's still, even though with the amount of power he has, still is unsuccessful, because, you know, Obi-Wan's way more wise, and he's still way too reckless and shit like that. So yeah, I said easily one of the best moments of the... Well, to be fair, this episode probably was the best episode of the show. Because you also have Reva getting absolutely fucking murked by Vader later on.
Yeah, that was satisfying.
So satisfying. But before that happens... you like, this is where the leaks came into fruition. You have her with her shit backstory of her getting abducted from the temple, and Obi-Wan's like, "No, come to my side."
This was the part. So that was not it doesn't make any sense. The first part of the show is her wanting to please Vader by killing Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan finds out that she was like, Anakin killed all the younglings, and she kind of gets angry at.
She's wanting to earn his trust more to be able to murder Vader.
And it's like...
And I'm like, I don't think you're going to be earning his trust by killing off the Inquisitor in your mind and failing. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then she switches up
you gaining by failing all the time, and like you're saying, motivation all over I just didn't know what the fuck she was doing. And also, like, get the fuck out of here with this little redemption act. She's a fucking murderous villain. Like, you can't just
you said it perfectly, like Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. It's like Scarlet Witch, how people try and justify all their fucking actions, and like, oh no, but she's still good, like, she just needs to... I'm like, no, she's too far gone, like, she needs to be murdered, so yeah, Reva just getting not held accountable at all for any of the shit she's fucking done wrong. Like, Obi-Wan just letting it all slide. Again, another thing adding to her just being so fucking unlikable.
Trying to kill bloody Owen and Beru. Like, she was literally just swinging lightsabers and shit at them.
Oh, and episode 6.
Yeah. Like, there was so much bipolarness in the show. Like, it was ridiculous.
But yeah, Vader fucking toying with Reva, so satisfying.
Didn't even bother to use his lightsaber.
But then he just lets her live again.
Yeah, after stabbing her in the
and then the Inquisitor comes in like, oh yeah, no, I'm still alive. Why the fuck? So why fake kill him off if he's just gonna walk and like nothing ever happened? And then, like, why even have him in the show?
Literally, why was he in
the show? Like, it's like this shit little twist. Like, everyone knows he's still alive because he's in fucking Rebels.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of that?
There wasn't.
What was the point of that?
There wasn't.
And then, if anything, surely the Inquisitor's wanting her to get fucking murdered after she stabbed him.
It would have built more off of Reva if she was like trusted as the main Inquisitor. Like, I know you've still got the Grand Inquisitor, but if she was sent to these planets on her own to find Jedi and stuff, that would have just added to her character a bit more. Like, oh, she is quite powerful. You know, she's trusted, and,
like, if this was a normal show, if this was made probably 10 years ago before there was all this fucking woke bullshit, she would have been murdered here. She would have been murdered here by Vader.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Disney owned.
Yeah, like this, everything, all the setup in the show would lead you to believe she was getting murdered here. And to be fair, like, that would have actually been more compelling because you're like, oh, like, she kind of like did know what she was doing was wrong and all this stuff, like, even though it was all bullshit anyway, but you would have probably understood it more if she got killed off, and then it's like, okay, yeah, that's the consequences of your actions, instead of like Rey, you just get to get away with fucking everything. And yeah, so they kind of just ruined the whole thing for me, because I'm like, you have the 16 of her getting fucked up and then she just gets to live.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So, yeah. Fucks me off. But then we get to the finale. Like, the main thing in this was Vader fighting Kenobi, but it also wasn't really the main part of this.
Yeah, there's like I skipped not skipped essentially, but I fast forwarded every 10 seconds through every non-Vader and Obi-Wan scene.
Yeah,
and I missed over half of the episode.
Exactly.
That's not good.
Every time it was coming back to Reva, I was like, get this the fuck out of this show. Like, it literally should have just been everything building to this confrontation with Vader and Obi-Wan, and it wasn't even the end. It wasn't even the fucking end of the end, which just goes to show, like, the main story was Reva and all that bullshit she was doing. Like, I literally just commented on something, I was like, yeah, loved watching fucking Vader and Kenobi be the co-main events to Reva's fucking show. Like, this should have been the fucking ending, because like the whole time
it was fucking Adesanya versus Gastelum co-main under Poirier and Holloway.
Yeah.
Except if Poirier and Holloway was fucking
Joanna and Whaley co-maining to fucking Adesanya and Yoel. Like, that's literally, that is the definition of what it was.
Yeah.
So as good as the scene was, because I thought that was really good, like, in the back of my mind I was like, oh, but it's just like, it feels like a fucking subplot. Like, it doesn't feel as important.
You could easily move it all around.
Yeah,
like,
and you have to keep cutting back to fucking Reva.
Just have Reva, like, go to kill Luke. Well, actually, no, like, scrap all that. But if you're keeping the plot of the episode, have Reva do a little heel big show turn, whatever, and then have, like, Luke just sleep it off. Then have Obi-Wan fucking fight Vader or no, other way around, sorry, like, have Obi-Wan go see him, and then Vader comes to the planet or something.
Yeah,
and
it was just so upsetting to me, because this is just what I wanted to be about, and it was just really, like, after everything fucking sit through these shit sequels and everything, like, I was literally sad watching this show. It was just fucking upsetting me. Like, this scene was so fucking good as well, but, well, actually, like, the lightsaber fight, actually, I wasn't even really that fond of.
I think Revenge of the Sith was, like, so far clear.
Yeah, people were saying this was the best one. I thought as a lightsaber fight, this was actually kind of shitty.
I understand that there's going to be limited mobility with Vader in that suit.
Yeah.
But
as I've been talking about how good it is, I've more been talking about the interaction at the end when, like, his mask is cut. And that is more what I'm talking about. Like, the lightsaber scene was not even really, like...
And that set up A New Hope, where bloody Obi-Wan says, oh, a young Jedi called Darth Vader killed your father.
Yeah, like, and this is that is where they really were able to kind of
like
have some some consistency there, which actually like works for it.
And like there was something that added to the plot rather than a new plot added to. Like, not the main story.
I just thought this lightsaber fight, the direction of the action scenes in the show, I just thought was really shitty. Like, the amount of fucking just shot... Like, there were so many over-the-head shots, which I just thought, just don't do that. I guess because
they just CG'd it all. There was a lot of the Force used. So.
Yeah, and it was just really fucking shittily edited, I thought. Again, the lightsabers, I thought, looks trash. And another thing, like, one of my main problems with the whole show, you have Obi-Wan underpowered for no reason the entire time. He's underpowered for no reason.
And you've got Vader pulling ships out of the sky.
And then at the end, just because he needs to fight Vader...
Just because
he's good again. He's just back to absolute fucking Vader up. So there was no point in him being underpowered the entire time.
Yeah. Vader's, like I said, able to pull shit out of the sky and fuck up an Inquisitor with no lightsaber at all. And Obi-Wan... And then he's just getting rocks thrown at him. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Well, no, fucking stones will fuck you up, Vader.
So, that was another thing as well. It was like, you had Vader be such a beast, Obi-Wan. He's been fucking sitting working at a meat factory for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's fucking Vader up just because he needs to for the story. Like, if they were going to have Obi-Wan start off as a bit shit and underpowered, again, where you have this fella, have him doing some fucking training or something. Literally.
Give us Qui-Gon earlier on to, like, maybe say to him, like, you need to reconnect with the Force.
Yeah, so we'll get to that now as well. Like, Qui-Gon Jinn coming at the end, I hated it. Like, I actually hated
Yoda,
it.
You could have given us Yoda.
Because
Yoda's
I was
still
like,
alive.
I wanted him to be in there, but it was like a fucking Marvel after credit scene where it was some joke.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're gonna have Qui-Gon come in there, if anything, have him come in before he's about to fucking fight Vader.
And just say, look, you're gonna have to fight Vader. You need to prepare. He's stronger than you at the moment.
Have it be like a serious, deep, meaningful scene between fucking. Well, this is the first time we've fucking seen him in like fucking 20 years since he's been in a film. Like, have it be a deep and meaningful scene. Instead of, oh yeah, come on, Obi, like fucking, like some joke. He didn't even try and do a fucking accent either, fucking Neeson. Like,
yeah.
He literally just had the Irish
just
accent
clearly
on
had the
full
fucking
display, and it was literally like Michael Keaton and
extensions.
Morbius. I thought like that shit after the credit scene where.
I've got a theory about that.
What about Morbius?
Yeah,
is not talking about that.
yeah.
But
almost the level.
So we've got Reva, her thing she's doing. She's going after Luke now because she found the thing where Bail Organa sent the message to. I don't know why she's actually going after Luke here.
It made no sense.
I don't know why she was doing it.
Especially if she's like since turned on Vader.
Is she wanting to because she's wanting to murder Luke there.
But that's what I mean. Why? Like.
Yeah. Why was she doing that? Why was she not killed in the last episode? Why was she not killed in every single fucking episode?
Yeah, just over and over.
And I literally was just thinking, and the time it takes her to grab Luke right in front of her, Obi-Wan's able to fight and defeat Vader in
more chase scenes
and go across the fucking galaxy to Tatooine.
Yeah.
All in the time, literally, she's right in front of Luke.
Yeah.
Like,
and it has the fucking lightsaber above his head waiting to kill.
Yeah. Like, and the entire time it took her to just grab Luke, who's literally like in front of her, Obi-Wan's able to fucking defeat Vader and go across to the... Because me and Jordan were watching this and we were like, fuck, they're going to have someone come in here. They're going to have someone come in here to save Luke, and that is going to actually redeem it. That is going to be sick. They're going to have fucking Cal Kestis from Fallen Order show up or something.
Yeah.
And
or like, fucking Quinlan Voss.
But no, you can't have Reva get killed for some reason. You have to have her have some shit little redemption act.
Yeah. But it's not even a redemption act. I just don't get her character at all.
All these points we've made like throughout this review just go to show she wasn't deserving of a fucking redemption or whatever the fuck it was. And Obi-Wan just... Like, I get from Obi-Wan's point of view because like he feels like he failed as a master or something, but no, like you just can't let her fucking and just fuck off, bitch. I'm not like, if you get a spin-off, this was your spin-off. Like this was
100%. This was any logical company would see the reception that this person received.
No, because they just call it racist though. But they knew this was coming.
Not even this person, this character, because the very base of it has nothing to do with the actual actor portraying it. It's the way this character was written.
For sure there are people who are giving her racist hate out there.
Yeah, but that's always... But they're using that as reason to excuse the criticism in general.
Which is what they do with everything now. They're like, oh, we'll put whatever fucking, whatever race they are, we'll put them in the strong role. But every time, like, I'm fine with you having diversity in your movies, but it's always just so shittily handled.
I don't care who portrays who. Like, you could make Obi-Wan black, cool. You could make him a woman, cool. Yeah. Just give a good performance. That's all I give a shit about.
Like, the reason we always are getting so mad about this forced diversity and stuff like that is because they feel like, oh, we can just put them in there and we don't have to fucking try, because if people criticise it, we can just call them racist. So we won't even try to fucking write her well or any of that shit, because like we won't even give an attempt, and if anyone criticises it, we can just call them racist. Like that is why this shit just fucks me off. Like, I would have been perfectly fine with like that's like, again, like 10 years ago, if before the show came out and we saw, oh yeah, there's like this black woman who's going to be the main villain of the show, like you wouldn't even think anything about it. You wouldn't be thinking, oh, they're just trying to put like this diversity and shit, because they used to actually have, like, they would be cast for their performance and written well as a character, instead of, oh yeah, no, we're just going to put them in there for diversity and not give a single fuck about like actually writing them well and making them likable. In fact, they go to the full other extent of like making them just be able to do whatever the fuck they want, unlike any real normal human beings. They just get away with being able to do anything. Like, it's just so frustrating. And yeah, Palpatine shows up, and I thought he just didn't even look recognisable. Again, it must have just been to the budget. The makeup it looked cheap as fuck.
It was Ian though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, again, like nothing. He was only there for 2 seconds. There's nothing bad about the performance, but the makeup. It didn't. It just really seemed like they didn't give a fuck. The only thing good was fucking Christensen and Kenobi, fucking McGregor absolutely carrying this show. But like, the thing is, if it just was about them, then the whole show would have been good, because everything good was the stuff you wanted to see and what you thought it would have been about.
Yeah.
Instead of like all this extra shit that just didn't even need to be in there.
You genuinely could have titled this like Reva the Inquisitor, and I would have.
And you would have just had Obi-Wan be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
She got way more to do than he did. The whole show, like all the storylines was all shit she was doing, and it was just Obi-Wan having to just come in and just save it.
And there's like, you can't even say what she wasn't the villain, because she supposedly got this redemption like halfway through, so they like switched her out as the villain after the third.
You can't ever be a fucking good guy now. Like, she's murdered people.
Yeah.
It's like, again, like, this is why Kylo Ren and Vader died when they were redeemed, because they done. You can't have them be a good guy, because everyone will be like, no, these people like Kylo Ren, we're not welcoming you in if you've murdered like half our population.
Yeah.
Like, just get fucked. And Obi-Wan said hello there, almost like looking into the camera.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That felt a bit too Marvel-y for me. That felt a bit too Marvel-y.
I reckon it should have just been his catchphrase, throughout.
It was the fact he had to be like,
yeah, and it took him so
instead
long
of him
to say
just
it as
saying
well.
it just naturally in a conversation. Like, it just had to be so forced in as like this fan servicey moment. And yeah, that's pretty much all the notes I got.
People forget that Alec Guinness said it first.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's...
There.
Yeah.
No, I think McGregor made it iconic though.
Yeah, but I feel
he didn't even make it iconic. The internet made it iconic.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, overall...
It's really disappointing.
I've pretty much only been criticising the show this entire review, but literally only the positives I really have is McGregor and Christensen.
And not even like what happened with it. It was just that they were in it.
Yeah.
That was what was good.
All their scenes all were dragged down by the shit around it, so I couldn't even enjoy it.
Because they weren't the main focus.
I couldn't even enjoy it to the extent I should have, because it just wasn't even fucking
good.
This shit just fucked me off.
Yeah.
I will never rewatch this, but I'll probably go back and rewatch like the scenes just with Kenobi and
I don't even think I'd do that.
Well,
it's not even their best, like, not that it's not their best work, but it's not the best piece of Star Wars featuring them in it.
I thought
the entirety of Revenge of the Sith.
I thought that scene with his mask cut open.
That was
I
really
thought that was
good,
probably one of the best Star Wars scenes.
But that was like a 2-minute scene. I'm not going to just go watch a 2-minute scene.
And they had to keep cutting back to fucking Reva during it. So every time it cut out of that scene to Reva and the shit she was doing, it was just taking the impact out of Vader versus Kenobi.
Yeah. Or give us like a flashback to them like bonding while he's saying all this, like shit that we wouldn't have seen in between episode 1 and 2.
That's what I was saying. Have that through the whole show, so when you get to that point, you're like, oh, you've been reliving it all again by the time you get to this, and imagine the amount of impact it would have, because like you'd be like, oh, fuck, like. You know,
what we're saying is Disney hire us to actually produce some good content,
because we won't cater to their fucking agendas.
I would have no problem catering to the agendas as long as the people gave good performances. But yeah, that brings us to the end of it, man.
It was so easy to like. I'm not even a professional screenwriter, and I feel like if I was a producer, how hard was it to just come up with these ideas that I've been saying? But they were just too worried about other shit. Like, it's like they were just like, oh yeah, we'll just have Kenobi in it, and then just fucking whatever.
Yeah. But yeah. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Kenobi. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it like we did?
What is the perception now? Because I saw so many people. That's the thing. Because when it started, I was like, oh yeah, this is like entertaining. Well, most people were like, this is shit. And then I kind of descended into fucking hating it as it went on. But I saw like most people after the finale were actually really liking the show. Is that the perception now? I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, let us know.
I don't really know. But that finale, like, there were decent parts to it, but just fucking dragged the fuck down.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't know why you'd excuse any of this shit. Just like, fuck. Because we're just gonna keep getting shit like this if you're not critical of it.
Yeah.
You're just gonna keep getting this shit over and over.
But we're dumb enough to keep watching it.
Oh, fucking true. But it's just because I have hope.
Yeah, well,
like
I need to find a new
Star
hope.
Wars used to. They used to have hope. And it's been drained out of me. I'm sick of shitting on Star Wars, but fuck. It's like every time we review Star Wars, it's like a fucking hour review of us just fucking shitting on it.
Because we know what good Star Wars is.
Like, that's the thing. I've spent pretty much my entire life just hating Star Wars.
Well, yeah,
like,
literally, Phantom Menace came out almost the year we were born.
Yeah, but like then like so young, but like as I've known like shit about movies and stuff, and Star Wars has been coming out, it's just all been shit.
Yeah,
it's just all been shit.
Yes.
Oh
very good
my
point.
god, it was hard to watch this. It was so hard, but
oh well, at least we've got the prequels and original trilogy to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought.
I hope Disney's watching this.
Yeah, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Piece of shit. Oh yeah, that works.
Well, that was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah.